Ollie, great to have you with us on the show. I guess I remember last time we spoke after the Oval Test match, you talked about the team environment and how everyone puts so much emphasis on creating moments for individuals and how much you sort of care about each other as well as results. I wonder, what's it been like as a group, having spent so much time away from each other from that last Test match at the Oval to getting together in the UAE? What was it like when you got back together for that little trip to UAE before you went out to India?
Yeah, it's been quite weird actually. Not to have cricket for that long of a period. It's been strange. I can't remember the last time I haven't played cricket for longer than a few months. Probably when I was a little boy. So to then not play cricket and not be with the lads for such a long period of time, it was very strange. But I think that with the group that we've got and the camaraderie that we've got, there's been a lot of messages to and fro from people and a lot of sort of catch ups. I spoke to Baz a few times, spoke to Stokesy a few times, Jimmy, like everyone was sort of keeping contact still. I think that shows how close we are as a group. But when we met up in Abu Dhabi 12 days ago, it was as if we'd sort of been together like since the Ashes almost. It wasn't really like we hadn't been together for 6 months. Everyone just gelled and clicked straight away. We obviously got some new faces, which was nice to get them involved and get them part of the group, and they fitted in really well. So it has been strange, but it's felt like back to normal pretty quickly, and the group's flying. So it's been a good first few weeks.
What was that break like on a personal level? That's a very long time to go without playing cricket. Did it re-energize you at all?
Yeah, I think the first month or two, I was like, oh, this is quite nice. Bit of golf, bit of training, like just a bit of sort of downtime, a mental refresh, physical refresh, and then I think it got to probably end of October, November, and I was like, right, I'm ready to go back now. I'm ready to play cricket again, and obviously we had to wait till January for that. But no, it was nice for a bit, and then I think you just get sort of fed up of being in your living room for half a day and the English weather and all those sort of things. So it's nice to be back on tour with the boys.
Mm. And how do you spend that time together in the UAE? Obviously, it's not that long before the start of the series when you first got there. So is it pretty much straight onto the training ground? A lot of hard prep for that first test at Hyderabad.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. We had I think 8 days of training in a row. I think there was a day off in the middle. But it was sort of typical Baz and Stokesy. It was very short, sharp every day, but get everything that you need to in. And I think that's obviously the message that's always been from them too. It's not that we want to be in and out of training and we don't want to do things. It's that be really efficient with what you're doing when you're training. So you'll see lads get it sort of fitting in 2 hours of training into an hour, or 4 hours of training into 2 hours. And I think that makes the training more efficient, makes everyone sort of fill in together and help each other out. There's lads throwing to each other all the time or helping with fielding. There's lads running together all the time. And it just brings that group closer together. We made some good yards in Abu Dhabi. I think there's a few of us that haven't played cricket, obviously, like you said, since the summer. A few have, but a few of us haven't played for a long time. So for the likes of me and Jimmy and Folksy as well, it's been good to have that extra time to prep and sort of get back to bowling on grass or batting on grass. And we had some big days. We had some double sessions, some sort of triple spells, and some sort of big gym sessions, big running sessions. So it was a really beneficial 10 days really. And obviously we've come here now, and me and Jim were saying yesterday actually that we feel like we're actually in a good place, ready to go.
Mm. I'm fascinated by how McCullum and Stokes create that environment, because you see a lot of other teams in the world who try to play fearless cricket, and it's one of those things where you can't
Yeah,
just tell people to be fearless. You've got to actually create an environment where that feels
yeah.
natural. What do you think it is about the two of them that genuinely create that sort of dressing room environment?
I think it starts from the camaraderie and the training. Just allowing everyone to bond so closely. You sort of trust everyone in the team, which sort of, it's a weird thing to say, but it means you're not fearing sort of someone taking your place, or you're not fearing someone like behind. I don't know how to quite describe it, but we've got 16 lads here, and we're always happy for each one of them as another one, sort of thing. And I think they've just built an environment where you know that you'll get your chance to play, you know that you'll get your chance to impress. as long as you do the right things, as long as you put in, help other lads out. And I think if you don't buy into that, you're quickly not in the environment anyway. So you sort of don't really have a choice to do anything else. And I think that's what really allows the environment to flourish. And then the message through training, the message through everything that we do, whether it be golf or training or anything, it's like, go for it. You got a second shot onto the green from 250 yards away for eagle, like, go for it. There's sort of everything we do is go for it and don't have any fear of failure, I suppose. And I think this journey's been 18 months now, 2 years with Baz and Ben, and since day one, that's been the message. It's been no fear of failure. Like, we're here to entertain. If we don't get it right, we don't get it right. But at the end of the day, we're here to entertain and win games of cricket and sort of, just be rock stars, as they would say.
I've got to ask, how competitive is the golf? Because there's obviously a lot written and talked about your guys' love of golf. How competitive is it?
It's very competitive. Yeah, there's tantrums. There's all sorts on the course if it's not going well. So yeah, it's very competitive. We normally play for a shirt or a sleeve of balls. This trip actually we've just started. Like, I think there's an app on the phone. You put all the names in, spins the wheel, and then it puts players together. Whereas before we'd chuck balls up, or lads would pick who they want to play with. That made it a little bit more interesting. I played with Paul Collingwood actually a couple of days ago, and we were so bad. We were 6 down through 8, which is horrendous. And we were just abusing each other for the first few holes. I was like, "Have you turned up yet?" And he was having a go at me. And we take the golf really serious, but no, it's been really good.
Obviously, there are a few new faces in the squad: Gus Atkinson, Tom Hartley, Shoaib Bashir. Particularly with young Bashir, 20-year-old, not been in the professional game for very long. What's it like having him along for the ride?
Yeah, it's been good. He's fit right in. He's such a lovely lad as well, to be honest with you. He's very easy to get along with. I'm probably not like the most outgoing person, but with all three of them, I found it really easy to just sit down with them at breakfast, have a conversation. They've fitted into the environment really well. And I think, again, testament to Ben and Baz picking the right characters, the right individuals for the group. But yeah, Bash looks really good. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. He bowled really well in Abu Dhabi. He's obviously tall, a little bit similar to Ashwin, tall off spinner, and got one that slides on, one that turns. He's pretty impressive, to be honest, as they all have. I've been impressed with Tom Hartley. I've not seen a lot of him, but he's really impressed me. He's an all-round good cricketer. He bats, bowls, fields, like, he does everything. And his bowling in these conditions is going to be quite testing for them, I think. It's similar to Ashwin Jadeja, where he fires it in, one turns, one skids. So I'm excited to see how they go, really, and I think they're going to do well out here.
On your own preparation, I mean, you had a very successful tour of Pakistan in similar-ish conditions just over a year ago. What have you been working on in the lead up to this series?
I think probably trying to prepare a bit earlier than I did for that series. I felt like I actually went into the series a tiny bit undercooked, which sometimes on a away tour is not the worst thing because they are quite testing mentally and physically. But this tour, I feel like I've probably prepped a bit better. Body's in a better place, mind's in a better place. I've studied things a bit earlier. Sort of got all that ready before I got to Abu Dhabi, so I could just enjoy Abu Dhabi for what it was with the team and really sort of get stuck in. I think so far the wickets that we've seen here in Hyderabad, they're probably a bit drier than they have been in Pakistan. So reverse could come into play a little bit more. I think it's definitely going to spin more. The wicket looked Tuesday, I think was. No, where are we? Monday yesterday. Yeah, 3 days out. The pitch looked ready. It looked like it was a day 2 pitch already. So wouldn't be surprised if it turns from ball 1, to be honest, and reverses after 20 overs. It's really dry out here. But it's been good. It's been good. The prep's been really good. Me and Jimmy especially have been talking about certain things with the seam and the balls. So I think on a personal level, I feel really ready to go. And I think most of the lads do as well. I think when you don't play cricket for a while, you're even more hungry to get back out there.
Yeah, I saw a stat the other day that said that Jimmy's got the best average of any bowler in India against top 7 batters in this century. So
Wow.
he's a pretty good person to have in the dressing room before a series in India. Yeah, what's it been like, sort of, devising plans with Jimmy? He's obviously had so much success there.
Yeah, it's been good. There's obviously some days you get less out of him than others, and I think that's part of Jimmy Anderson. But no, he's been good. Abu Dhabi, I was trying to bowl with him quite a lot in Abu Dhabi just to sort of see what he was doing and speak to him about how he's going about things. Speaking about crease position to seam to reverse, we were using new balls for one spell, 60 over balls for the next spell, and just really trying everything that we could really. But like you said, is the best bowler in the world. He's been the best bowler in India for the last century. It'd be silly of me not to try and learn from him. And obviously get on really well with him on a personal level anyway. So I find it a bit easier to work with him on the field and sort of have that banter and camaraderie with him again. Yeah.
Are you someone who thinks about your plans to individuals? I remember in Pakistan, for example, you basically bowled the perfect ball to get rid of Bazball when there was a bit of reverse. Just looking back at the India-South Africa series recently, it took a few perfect balls to get rid of Rohit Sharma at times. Have you thought about how you're going to go against individual Indian players?
Yeah, I have. It's probably just looking at their main dismissal, I would say, is what I look at the most. And if it doesn't fit how I bowl, I'll probably go back to my strongest strength and go that way. But yeah, there's certain individuals that obviously have certain weaknesses to certain deliveries. Take you back to the summer, David Warner around the wicket. Like, it's a no-brainer to go around the wicket. So there are certain plans to individuals that I will go from ball one and stick at, and there are things that I would just stick to my strengths and go from there and probably stick to those. I think notoriously Indian batters haven't done that well against tall bowlers. I think that's sort of a thing. It's just if we get the bounce out here, or if the pitch will allow that. So then if it doesn't, there's sort of the B plan, the C plan that I've got in the back of my head that I've been working on as well. I actually watched some footage probably 3 days ago. I asked the analyst for footage of Glenn McGrath when he bowled in India, and he sent me some stuff from 2004 because I think he averaged maybe 16 in that series, took loads of wickets, went at 2 and over, like killed it. So yeah, I got him to send me that, and I was just looking at how he got most of his wickets. And I'll probably take a bit of that with me into the games really, and think about how he got his wickets when it's going flat or with the new ball, etc.
People might not remember, but you were in India for the last series. Remind people just how weird that series was in a way, because it was really in the core of COVID times. It was, everyone was in lockdown, not just in the UK, but in India as well. It was a very difficult series just from a touring point of view.
Yeah, it was probably the hardest 8 weeks I've had as a cricketer, actually. I think the environment being so far away from home, not playing amazingly well, all of those things linked together made it a really tough tour. And I think even now you speak to the lads that played on that tour as well, they're like, that's probably the worst tour I've been on. Like, everyone says the same thing, like that Ahmedabad, we got beat in 5 sessions. Like, everyone remembers those certain things. And I think just the scarring of that, getting tested every day, 2 inches up your nose, like all those little things just stick in the back of your mind. And I think that's what's made this first few days here much more enjoyable for everyone, because we haven't had that, and we was probably expecting the worst because of the previous tour. But no, it was tough, and I think there probably is a tiny bit of scarring from that. I think our lads have spoken about Ashwin and Axar and Jadeja quite a bit, and that's probably because of that tour. So I just hope that the brand that we're going to play against them is obviously going to be different this time, and we can actually get on top of them and sort of push that to the back of our minds really. And I think if we can get on the front foot against them, then it will put us in a really good position for the rest of the tour.
One thing I've noticed about the build up to this series compared to last time, and maybe last time it was influenced by just the broader environment around that series is just the sort of attitude towards what conditions might be like. I think last time there's a lot of energy that went on, what a pitch is going to be like, etc. But this time I sort of feel that you guys are really embracing whatever Indian pitches throw at you. It's not going to be like, it's this one's turning lots and you get your excuses out early. This time it really feels like, like we're ready for whatever. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think even in Abu Dhabi, we got the groundsman in Abu Dhabi to rake 2 pitches and put like sawdust down it, so they were ragging square from ball one. And like Tom and Bash were using brand new balls. Like Ashwin obviously bowls with a new ball sometimes, and the lads were playing sweeps, getting hit in the face, like playing shots that they would normally play on these raggers. And there was no moaning, there was no sort of excuses if they'd got out. It was just like, right, next ball, crack on. Like, how am I going to be better the next time? And that's something that I definitely have noticed under Ben and Baz again. The mindset is so different. I think I take you back to the India tour before. We didn't practice on turning wickets. We didn't practice on the wickets that we were going to face. We just had nice, comfortable practice, like make sure the batters feel good, make sure the bowlers feel good. Whereas this time it's been more uncomfortable, more honest practice. And I think that's only going to bode well for us in the series. I think I'm excited to see our batters play, because the way they've been playing in Abu Dhabi and the first few days here, it's going to be exciting to watch.
I'm sure it will be. Just in terms of the broader context of this series, India haven't lost a series at home since England last won there in 2012. I think they've only lost 3 test matches in India since that series. Should it go well, would this rank at the top of everything this side under Stokes and McCullum have achieved?
Yeah, 100%. I think until now, Pakistan 3-0 would be the pinnacle of what we've achieved. But I think if we can win in India, it's right up there with I think, to be honest, the hardest challenge in cricket. I think it's probably harder than beating the Aussies at home. I think it's the hardest thing you can achieve as a cricketer, as a team. So if we can beat these guys, I feel like it will really put fire in our belly to then obviously go on and become the number 1 team in the world, I suppose, and play this brand of cricket doing it. So yeah, it's really exciting to be able to get going and potentially beat India in their backyard.
Well, best of luck, Ollie. We'll catch up shortly. Hope it all goes well in Hyderabad.
Thank you very much. Good to speak to you.